Hey man, say man, what's the play, man?
What up? What up?
What's the business, bro? So who we have in the building today?
Oh man, Star Music 214.
Man, it's good seeing you. I remember towards the earlier, I don't even know how to call these decades no more, but you know what I'm saying? I just remember seeing you like in ecstasy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Passing each other, you know what I'm saying? Like on the race to the top. But it's good to see some people that used to see along the way. You know what I'm saying? Still in there, still kicking it. So I really want to commend you, my G. So how are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm living.
Man, 2020 was a crazy ass year, right?
Yeah, it was, dog.
Crazy ass year, man.
Yeah, about as crazy as I've ever seen it.
Man, I hope it doesn't get any more, any more at all. Mm-hmm. How are you affected by the COVID-19 2020 pandemic, new virus strain?
Man, it slowed down a lot of the money, man. Slowed down a lot of things that, a lot of us had in motion, man. Especially on the music tip.
Man.
Just really kind of slowed down life because you wouldn't really just be able to go out and just kind of operate like you want.
Yeah.
So it slowed down a lot, man.
Okay. But you haven't had nobody like personally affected as well?
Personally, nah, man. I mean, just a few people here and there close to me, like, okay, they have it, but it's something that they get through. But man, fortunate enough, I hadn't lost anybody from it.
It's crazy. And I asked everybody because it's affected everybody in some type of way. But it's like I can talk to one person and they'll be like, I just lost 4 people. And the next person I talk to them and they'll be like, man, this shit ain't even real. And not in my world. It's like, dang, bro, and I deal with a little bit of everybody. So I just try to check everybody's temperature per se.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you just never know. Because like you said, it's just the degrees of separation because it's the next person to the next person.
And it's kind of crazy because in a way it makes it, and not to minimize it, but it's like, damn. If all it really takes is me just dealing with a person for a few seconds and you gonna have it, it's like, damn, we all eventually could have it. So
that shit wild, man.
Yeah, it was super wild, you know what I'm saying? But we still here. You know what I'm saying? We still here, man.
Blessed.
We still here. So even with you, like you selling cars, how did that, like the COVID affect that per se?
Not really, man, because when you think about it, man, like they started to come out with like incentives. And they, like a lot of times they were saying...
Put us on game, man. Put us on game.
So a lot of times, these manufacturers are coming out and they're saying, okay, we're going to continue to sell the vehicles. We'll just offer a bigger incentive or a lower interest rate.
Well, was 2020 actually a time to like buy?
Yeah. For real? Yeah, man. And, especially for like a luxury car, the people that got the money, they're going in and they're buying the shorter term loans and they're getting like the 0% for 36 months.
Wow. So the bank's giving a better rate right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of times people didn't realize that,
Yeah.
But a good rate nowadays is probably 2.9, 3.9. So to get something like 0%, it's free money.
Yeah.
So you take it.
It was really this year that I understood the phrase saving money for a rainy day. You know what I'm saying? You like, what's a rainy day?
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's never going to, sometimes it's not really a bad opportunity, but it's like the opportunity where if you just have this money, you can really come up just putting your money in a, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. Like, people started to invest more. So, no, absolutely.
Yeah. I was asking, so we just spoke to an up-and-coming fashion designer, and we spoke to about how this year was one of those years about Black excellence and Black entrepreneurship. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like it's a fad?
I hope not. I hope not, because again, with the emergence of that's allowed people to really take that leap of faith and start their businesses and things like that. And so it's I hope it's not a fad, man. But unfortunately, those things arose from people losing their lives, you know what I mean? From the police, you know what I mean?
Social unrest.
So it's social unrest.
Like that.
But I mean, let's hope that it's not a fad. Let's hope that part, the thing that started it goes away, and then let's hope that the business, the support of it, continues to grow.
And, one of the great things about it as well is that, like, there have always been Black entrepreneurs, but now the consumers have confidence in that entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it sucks that sometimes it takes those situations, but it's like that's the confidence that a lot of these entrepreneurs could not formulate or buy or make on their own. For real.
Yeah, and a lot of the first thing that I seen that became a big thing was food. Yeah. Because like the COVID. So I seen the like a group on Facebook, like it was like DFW Black owned businesses, and these people were advertising their companies. Man, their businesses were just sold out for days.
We've seen food, we've seen mask companies, we've seen designer mask companies. You know what I'm saying? Out of everything, the crazy thing that you see in 2020, what's your craziest moment?
The craziest moment?
Yeah.
Let's see. Man, Man, I don't know. It's just, I think it probably has to do with the whole way that the government handled it in terms of, like Donald Trump, just kind of like calling it a fluke, and then he turns around, he gets it.
So what was your opinion on how they kind of rolled it out? Let's talk about I guess from the national, then even maybe the local.
Well, I mean, they handled it wrong because they're always going to try to speak about it like it's something that's minor. They're going to try to minimize it until obviously it starts to take lives.
Where you from?
I'm from Ennis.
You're from Ennis?
Ennis, about 30, 40 minutes south of Dallas.
So tell us about Ennis. The only thing I really know about Ennis is speed trap and see Struggs.
Yeah, man, the speed trap on the little outside surrounding cities, and see Struggs mostly grew up out there. Yeah, a lot of his family is still there.
Real.
Rest in peace. That's my dog. I love him. I love him.
Have you you had the chance to meet him? Like, you know him personally?
Yeah. We got songs together, man. We hung out together. Went to college together.
Yeah.
Just a great friend of mine.
Give us a college memory. Cause I heard old Struggs is a fool. Old
Struggs is a fool. He played football. A lot of people don't know that he was a fullback.
Like was it Carter?
Yeah, he went to Carter, and then he went to Navarro College.
And then he still got his name up in the Raptors. So I heard like he was actually super cold.
Yeah. He went to college to play football. A lot of people don't realize that, man. And just afterwards, he just whatever, and then that's kind of where the weight came from, but. Nah, he was cold, man. He was always funny. Yeah. It was never, at the time, we didn't know him for the rap. We knew him because he was funny. Okay. You know what I mean? He'll roast anybody, man. Yeah. That shit was just so funny, man. But Ennis is, it's a small town, man. Everybody knows everybody. Take after Dallas a lot because it's so close. It's so close, and a lot of people move in and out from Dallas to there and so forth. But I mean, it's the place that I grew up, man. It's the place I love.
So what's the Ennis? Does Ennis have a music scene per se?
There's a lot of people out there that do music, man. But again, we migrate towards Dallas because there's not enough support there to sustain anything. Much less.
Shout some people out.
Man, the homie Zaylen, the Gant twins, man, they doing their thing. I mean, just a lot of people out there that create music, man. It's all about being consistent, man. It's all about being consistent because you got me and there were people before me, you know what I mean? And after me, there's going to be more people. So,
Do you think the consistency is what helped people like you and Struggs break through? It's crazy how even for Struggs a little bit more than you, but people sometimes didn't even know he wasn't from Dallas.
Yeah, man. It's consistency, just consistently driving your point, man. That's always going to help you break through, whether you're good or not. Yeah. Whether you're good or not, because the talent part, that's subjective.
That's very subjective.
You know what I mean? It's just that's all. In the eyes of the beholder. You know what I mean?
And nowadays it shows me there is no rule, so it's no rules. It's truly subjective if you can just find your right niche or base or people that you could believe in you.
Absolutely, man. That's always my advice to anybody that wants to do it. I'm gonna tell them first, there's no rules. Yeah, there's no rules. But I mean, it's just as long as you're consistent, you're gonna break through. On some level, at some part, it may not be the front door, maybe the back, it may be the side window. Maybe through the basement, but you'll break through.
No, that's real talk. Just like when we both started out, we were both artists. Now I'm like, all right, let me try to go through this blogging door a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's I guess just whatever you love is, if it's for the music or the industry or just trying to, be successful. I definitely get that. What was I finna ask you? So with you guys being outsiders for the city getting love, what's your take on? Cause it's a big deal, you know what I'm saying? Because Dallas is also a city where you got people within Dallas, they try to discredit them, you know what I'm saying? We just lost one of them, Mo3. Do you believe Mo3 was a Dallas legend? So we're kind of going through that right now.
I do believe so. His music was Dallas. You know what I mean? It was South, but it was Dallas, you know? And so everything that, from being here, I heard stories that he was from a little north of Dallas. Yeah. Whatever. You know what I mean? The place that he repped, the place that he spoke about most was Dallas. Yeah. And
I feel like also where you reaped most of your fruit, and also
absolutely
and laid seeds also was Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I get what you're saying as well. You know what I'm saying? But that's it's just a weird thing how we kind of got going out here, even on that. So you feel like he's a Dallas legend. What about Texas legend?
Yeah, I do. And, even though we're not in the trend of appreciating people on the Texas level, on the Texas front, because Dallas has kind of became one of those things where a lot of artists are kind of making it out in their own right. And then even then, the guys from Houston aren't spoke about as much anymore, but they're still there.
The new ones or the old ones?
Both. But I mean, Dallas. Yeah, he's definitely a Texas legend because you can't say one without the other.
Yeah. And I'm asking that because I think when people think of Texas legends, they think of the Paul Walls, Kiki's, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know if they want to put Sauce Walker in there yet.
Yeah, you think about it, man. Like, Sauce Walker's run has been now, what, 5, 6, 7 years?
Yeah.
You know what
I mean? It might even be longer than that because when did he diss Drake?
Let's see, around the back-to-back time. Let's see, that was probably 2015, 2016.
2015, 2016?
Yeah, but even before then, you know, what Sean was posting.
Exactly, and that's what I'm like, even back then, that's when, and that was before even Sean became Sean.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But you know, a 3 to a 5 year run on a high level, that's enough to put you in a timeless moment. You know what I mean? That's because you had a moment. And I mean, if you can sustain that, I remember back 14, 15, you know, when that Dallas versus Everybody came out.
Yeah.
That was the first time I heard Mo3. Okay. You know, and since that point, he's been talked about. He's been talked about as one of. So, I mean, to me, he's there.
I definitely think he's a Dallas and Texas legend as well. I think sometimes, like you said, we don't give flowers to people while they're alive, but then also, the younger people, you don't want to appreciate your peers, but then the older people, you don't want to be put in the same category as maybe somebody new. Yeah,
it's such a weird stigma, you know, to think that, you know, you don't want somebody to get further than you, you know, because you're from the same area, you're from the same place, you're in the same category of business or creative art, you know, whatever. But it's so weird.
It's a crab in a barrel mentality when it really, I mean, there's enough out here for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody.
I think we've seen that.
Hell yeah. And I hope we can bring it into that because, like, I was talking to somebody and I was like, no matter what people feel emotionally or whatever, like let's say the Dallas music economy just lost a certain amount of money or a certain amount of gross coming in. So who's to replace that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, everybody wants to be like, yeah, I will. You know what I'm saying? But like, what city do you have an up and coming artist worth $5 million?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Especially somebody that's ready to go now.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Who's going to replace that? So I feel like as a city, we should have maybe kind of stepped in and was like, I know what y'all got going, but we're going to, you know what I'm saying, for the greater of all of us, can we all eat off of everybody, you know what I'm saying, this cohesiveness. We can't let y'all crash out, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Where were you when you heard about the death of Mo3?
Man, I think I actually was at work. I was at work and, you know, you try to get away from your phone for a minute, you know, but next thing you know, my phone was just blowing up and it was just a bunch of tweets and a bunch of text messages and they go, yo, you heard what happened? I'm like, what happened? They're saying, oh, Mo3 got shot. They're saying that he died. I'm like, nah.
It's crazy how like the story developed, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm like, nah, not Mo3. You know, he may have gotten shot, but nah, they didn't kill him. You know, and then the video surfaced. And the video surfaced him actually laying there. And I'm just like, wow, this really happened. But even when it surfaced,
it was on some, we're giving him aid. He's okay. You know, so he gave a lot of us hope.
And then, you know, a lot of people probably thought back to the video where he reenacted himself on the bed. And they thought, like, okay,
a year ago,
yeah, they were like, oh, this is probably for a video or something.
Yeah, or just antics. We kind of got accustomed to that a little bit on a certain level too.
Right. But see, I have some connections to the news, and it was like, you know what, it's true. I reached out, I was like, yo, is this real? And they were like, yeah, Dallas just confirmed it. You know, Dallas just confirmed it before they released it, but they wouldn't release his name because they haven't talked to anyone in his family or close by. You know, and then after watching Rain's interview with Big D on the Mogul status. Shout
out to Mogul status.
Yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to them. I was hearing him say that he was on the phone and he was trying to tell them like, hey, this is who this is. Is this what happened? So that's why they wouldn't release it, because nobody confirmed who he was.
Confirmed who was.
Right, but everybody knew.
Yeah. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like artists get their flowers more when they die?
Yeah. Obviously when they die. Yeah. I mean, look at what happened with Nipsey.
Yeah.
You know, personally, Nipsey's one of my favorites, but for everybody to become aware of what he was about and the music, especially something like Victory Lap, you know what I mean? Obviously it was a timeless piece, but for everybody to become aware of it after the fact, you know what I mean? I wish they would have received it at that moment, you know, because that was just a culmination of everything that he had built up towards, everything that he was trending up towards. That album was it, you know, and so...
and I'm glad that you brought up Nipsey, because I'm going to ask you a hard question.
Okay.
Or even a hard question. Not even a hard question, but with all opinions. Do you feel like the radio supported Mo3 the way that it supported Nipsey? Because when Nipsey died, the world truly stopped for a moment.
But see, it's being in Dallas, I don't listen to the radio. Because, and maybe this is, my brain is already in tune to know that they don't support our own, you know what I mean? And so I didn't even listen to the radio. I didn't even check in to see if they were speaking about them.
You see their temperature, yeah.
You see, that's my temperature. That's already the energy I'm on, knowing that, yeah, they're going to get on there. They're going to gossip about it. They're going to talk about what they think happened.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to play the music. You know, I mean, think about Lil Ronnie. Lil Ronnie had the biggest. The biggest.
I feel like the radio did him the dirtiest.
You see what I'm saying?
I feel like the radio did Lil Ronnie, then DSR.
Right.
But
think about it.
Out of Lil Ronnie.
These guys had wave-changing music.
It's crazy to think, I'm not even cut you off, because I got friends in DC, I got friends around the country, for them to tell me that the record's being spun there, but we don't got it on local radio. It's crazy to think that Beyonce is like, what was the app that we even had at that time? Whether it's it's not Triller or nothing like that, but like she's taking a selfie with his music, throwing her ass in the circle, but our own radio was the supporting record. You know what I'm saying?
That just kind of goes to show you. And I know for years people have blamed, you know, the program directors and whatnot. Man, I don't know what it is. I think it's just nobody's just saying, hey, look, this is what we need to do. These people are here. These people are one of our own. You know what I mean? And even if, and again, I know they've tried the Sunday night kind of 2-hour window where they play locals, but that's just not enough, man. That's not enough. If somebody's popping, they need to be in rotation.
And that's the way I kind of feel, especially when you see, like, Mo3 had 55 million plays on a song.
Wow.
Everybody ain't your friend right now on that Piff has 55 million plays.
Wow.
But you can't even get played on your local radio.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Unreal.
So what's one of the ways that you think we could maybe, as an elder statesman out here, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, like, maybe not changing the guard, but, like, truly getting the game to represent the flavor that we have here in the city?
I think we need to be informed. We need to be educated about how it actually works, because, you know, when somebody's not getting spun or somebody's not getting their just due, how do we approach it? We approach it with frustration. We approach it with anger, not knowledge. You know what I mean? We're just like, oh, motherfuckers over there tripping. They just hating on us. You know what I mean? But in reality, it's maybe whatever's going on with their system or their program or whatever, maybe we don't know about how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, so we need to understand that. And somebody who's one of our own, they need to be in and they need to understand and they need to know what's going on and they need to know how to manipulate the system. If not just for the artists of now, just for the future. You know what I mean? So just so the shit can get right. You know, just like everything that's going on in the world now, it's not going to happen right now. It's not going to happen overnight. It's something that we have to get in. We have to infiltrate. We have to understand it, and we have to manipulate it so that it works for everyone. Okay. And that's how it should be.
So how do you operate out here in a less articulate rap world?
Man, I just don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck, man.
You know, so you're very well spoken.
Man, you know, when you deal with people, you have to let them know, hey, look, I know my shit. You're not gonna play me. You know what I mean? So let's just get down to it. I know what you want. You know what I want. Let's figure this out. You know what I mean? I dealt with a lot of promoters, dealt with a lot of artists, dealt with a lot of people in different positions, different branches, you know, and so it just, if it's something that I want, that I'm out for, that's what I'm going to go for. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to show fake love to get in there and get it. You know, I like what I like and I don't what I don't. Yeah. You know, it's just, it's no in between, man. So really it's just, you got to move in a way that just everybody knows you want what you want, man. And that's how it is. You just got to be straight up and direct with people because I don't want to waste nobody's time.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I go about it.
Do you feel like, cause Dallas used to have like an old system per se where it's like, club or streets, club, radio. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Do you still think that's the format?
No, because now, even so, a lot of people aren't making music for the clubs per se. They're just making music and then it's just so happened to be played in the club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus back in the day, it was the other way around. It was made for that reason. You know, like, hey, I'm gonna make this song, I'm gonna get it to this DJ, he's gonna spin it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Versus just like, I got this tape, I'm gonna let the fans choose. Okay. Now the music is more fan centric, and I think the internet obviously gives you a choice to get a chance to get a direct pulse on exactly what's going on.
Actual single. Yeah. So do you think artists still choose singles, or is it kind of like all crowdsourced now?
I think in a real sense they know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think
and I feel like you know when you got a hit.
Yeah, you know.
But then also as an artist, sometimes it's gonna be like every time your favorite actual song would never be the one that the masses like, or the one that they're like, why did you push this one? You know what I'm saying? It's never like that too. You know what
Absolutely. And then sometimes people that don't have creative control are put in a situation where, like, I wanted to go with this record, but the label or whoever wanted to go with this one, and it just, that's kind of how it goes.
Do you still think that's a thing in 2020 in terms of the rise of the independent artists? And I know when we were coming up a little bit, the structure was just a little bit more rigid in terms of what they allowed. You know what I'm saying? But now I feel like, in a certain sense, it's more accommodating.
Nowadays, we don't need them. And I say we, I mean all artists. We don't need them. You know what I mean? Think about a lot of these artists who came out with these big songs or whatever. They were independent.
Yeah.
They were independent and a record label needed them. They didn't need the label. So when they went in, they kind of really had more of a bargaining chip. You know what I mean? Even back to the days of Jeezy and the days of Tip and even as late as Nipsey, you know what I mean? Yeah. They built everything they wanted and then went in and said, if I'm going to deal with you, it's going to be my terms.
Were you able to watch the Jeezy and Gucci battle?
Yeah, I did.
Who did you feel won?
I think Jeezy washed him.
You think so?
I think Jeezy washed him. Even when they played the Gucci records, the disses, I don't think they slapped the way that they should have. And don't get me wrong, a lot of that is them lo-fi beats that Zaytoven was making back in the day. And I get it, but when you talk about a versus battle, I think you talk about the hits. I think you talk about your classic catalog. And I think Gucci was a little tone deaf. Yeah. I think he was a little tone deaf. I think he was so hell-bent on trying to disrespect Jeezy to try to get his point across. And in a real sense, he got embarrassed. But
I feel like it's just perspective, right?
Absolutely.
So if I sent, and it's documented, we all know it. Now, if I sent somebody to kill you, right, and you didn't die, and maybe the people that I sent towards you, they died. What would you take as vitriol, or what would you take as success? You know what I'm saying? Would it be the rap part, or would it just be the fact that I could just beat my chest and let you know the fact that I'm still here? Yeah, man, I think that's the toughest part about it, man, is because obviously he hadn't let that go, but I don't know who would let that go. But I mean, my understanding is they had a conversation. They've had conversations. My understanding is they've tried to hash that out. You know what I mean? So it's just like... It's crazy if you think that over the last 20 years, they've never been in the same room, venue, or whatever, especially in a small-ass Atlanta. Right. So just, I mean, again, I understand he's not over it because I don't think I'd be over it either. But if you have a conversation with somebody and you pretty much agree to squash it, I'm not going to shake hands with you, agree to something, and then go hop on camera and do something totally different. You know what I mean? So again, I think a little bit of that was misdirecting. Yeah. But at the same time, that's him. That's who he is, and whatever. If you had to do a versus, what would be your strategy? Man, I'd hope to go second. That way, I could kind of combat whoever I'm against. Yeah. You know what I mean? And just be like, okay, well, he's playing that one. Boom, I would go with my go-tos to know the ones that are going to... Do you think people call audibles? Like in the middle of... Yeah, well, if they're smart, they do. If they're smart, they do. You know what I mean? Because again, this is... You're trying to get public perception because it's not a real judging scoring system. It's just like I'm trying to sway the vote. You know what I mean? And so, and you can see it in the comments. And that's where I feel like maybe Gucci read the wrong time. I feel like Gucci sound sonically is what the sound is, right? Right. But what people forget is that a hit is a hit is a hit is a hit, and when we put $1,000 or thousands of dollars into a record, it's ingrained in us a little bit different than these street classics. You know what I'm saying? I stopped listening probably when they were like 17, 18 songs in, and I was like. And then I started thinking to myself, damn, Jeezy ain't even played this. Or, damn, Jeezy ain't even played that. I'm like, damn, this is more uneven than I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? And I'm not as well versed with Gucci's catalog as I was Jeezy. But I mean, again, it's the same thing like when people talk about with 50 Cent. He's like, oh, well, he's only got one album. Motherfucker, that's all I need. Yeah, no. That's really all I need. We're going to play 20 records. That's all I need. I feel like, isn't that the same with Tupac? Isn't that the same with Biggie? Mostly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I know Biggie only has 2, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's all we need. And even to the negative side, it's crazy how we got people who are still stuck in a time warp that like, we have 50-year-old living by the doctrine of dead 20-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but that's also to speak to the power of their music.
Absolutely.
With just that short discography or catalog.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So how do you kind of make sure that your catalog cuts through the noise and is memorable now in the 2021?
You know, for me, it's about making the music that's therapy. You know what I mean? It's always been love, but now it's more so therapy. And when people hear it, they're going to know that it's real. They're going to know that it's something that they're going to be able to hear later on, you know what I mean? And they're going to be able to go back to, and you know, the streaming reports ain't gonna lie. Yeah. You know, it's going to say that you go back to it. And again, it's up to me to carry the torch on everything that I have, you know, and just kind of move into new levels, you know. And so it's up to me to not let any of that die. Yeah. You know, regardless of if it's an old mixtape or whatever, it's up to me to keep it online for people who are just now discovering me, or people who were old fans, that they can go and get that content. You dropping some gems out here. If people really know, if they're listening, you know what I'm saying, in terms of marketing and handling your business, and if you can actually take the concepts you're speaking about and use them across the board in any business, even outside of music. I feel like businesses, musicians that are businessmen. Absolutely. I'm about to get it twisted. Are like they have the idea of business a little skewed compared to businessmen in every other category or sector. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a lot of wishing in the music business. And absolutely. It's like, no, like there's actual steps to success. It is, you know, and like I said, everybody around me knows that I've always been business first. It's always business first with me. You know, sometimes I'll get a little more caught up in that than the actual music itself. Exactly, yeah. But it serves its purpose. Yeah, it does in the greater long term. So tell us about the new track you got popping at the top of the year. So the new album that's coming, man, it's called Songs from My Sister's Crib. I moved away for a couple of years. I moved down to South Texas. Yeah. I was living down there, man. Just kind of, for me, that was like to get away from, you know, the direction that I was heading. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was kind of going nowhere. Mm-hmm. So I went down to South Texas for a few years, man, and I reset. And when it was time for me to come back, the place that I would end up every single day was my sister's house. You know, I would take in everything that was going on in Ennis. Yeah. I would take in, you know, all the old relationships that I maybe wasn't in tune with over the last couple of years. You know, I was taking in you know, my nephew who has a tumor in his brain. You know, of course, man, they removed it at the time. Yeah. But, you know, it was benign, of course. Yeah. But, you know, like to see him go through his struggles and to see him, you know, deal with that, you know, like I found myself there every day. Yeah. You know, and I seen myself go through my lows mentally thinking that, you know, am I going to settle? And I also see my inspiration grow. You know what I mean? And so as I would sit here, and again, these people would come through here, because my sister runs a t-shirt business. Okay. Yeah. And so while all these people are coming through picking up their stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, what's up? How you doing? All right, it's been a while. You know what I mean? And just to see her kids growing, to see my kid growing. And it's just like, that's where my inspiration came back. Yeah. You know, and so when I actually did start to write again, I was thinking about all of these experiences, and that's why I call it, you know, Songs from My Sister's Crib. And it's a lot of it is me bringing myself back up to date. The sound is modern, and it's me. It's sample heavy, but it's me. It's me bragging a little bit. It's me telling the stories, and